Good morning or evening, whatever time you watch this. I am Trisha McIntosh, your lecturer for conflict resolution for this short semester. So I wanted to explain the course. Now, yes, it's conflict resolution and yes, it's short semester. So the pace is going to be very fast. So let me apologize for that one time. I know we are all working and you may not have the time to always review this stuff, but please at least check in every other day or probably every 2 days at least to keep abreast of the forums, keep abreast of the notes that I put in, because remember, a part of your mark goes towards online participation. So if you're not participating, then you have me in a bind, right? So I'm starting off with the course outline to just explain certain things. So the first thing that we would have done, and hopefully you've read the notes and everything already. The first thing we would have done is just to explain what is communication, what is conflict, because conflict is everywhere. And I'm sure you would have experienced a conflict that was caused by either a miscommunication or someone communicated in a way that you didn't appreciate and you found rather disrespectful. So that was the introduction of the course, so that you could understand where we are starting off with in terms of conflict. Now, conflict is not always bad, right? And that is a good place to start off from. Sometimes it's good to be in a conflict that can explain boundaries, explain situations, and could even push you or elevate you into doing something that's positive, creating a change. Maybe you're in a relationship that you realize is not working out for you, and because of a particular conflict that ensued, you realize it's time to bung starter and ride. Well, that is where conflict can be positive. Conflict can be destructive or negative when it ends up in a loss, or it ends up in something that hurts or degrades or disrespects someone. Now, on the side you would have noticed, of the side of the course outline, you would have noticed home activities. This is just for you to get to thinking, and it's to help you progress a lot smoother along the class. So always be working with the course outline so that you will be aware as to what are the next topics coming up. Now remember, we have to do 2 topics per week, so it's really short, it's really a lot. So we gotta do as much as we possibly can in terms of the readings and in terms of the assignments that you would have to do, right? So the stages of conflict, from latent conflict all the way down to post conflict peace building and everything like that, right? So we also dealt with the types of conflicts. We dealt with 5 types: interpersonal, intercultural, international, work, and intergroup. And being in COSTAT, I'm sure you would have experienced intergroup conflict where academic pipers, yes, academic pipers, those persons who do absolutely nothing in the project all through the semester, but that when it's presentation day, they show up to ask, what can I read? Yeah, those are what we refer to as academic pipers, right? I'm sure you would have experienced that sometime in your tenure here with us in COSTAT, right? So the assignment for that week would have been start describing 4 conflicts that you've been involved in, and this will form your reflective journal. Now, reflective journal, let me say one time, is due on the 5th of July. You do not have a lot of time. That is next week Friday, and it's due midnight. Now, I've placed up I've uploaded I've uploaded the rubric for the reflective / conflict journal, and I've also placed the checklist. Now there's always some little confusion, some little ambiguity in terms of how many conflicts you need to analyze. You need to analyze 4 conflicts. Now, even though I placed a sample journal with just 1 in it, it is just to give you a gist of what is what you need to do in terms of laying out the conflict life, in terms of for me, the best thing to do for the student is to tell you, use the stages of the conflict. Now, not every conflict will go through every particular stage, but in analyzing it, it is good to use the stages of conflict. That same bell curve, it is good to use that in terms of your analysis to keep it focused and everything like that. So use that conflict style bell diagram, bell curve, and have little headings. So this is the latent conflict, this is where conflict emerged, this is where it escalated, so that you will be able to show the life of the conflict, so that you wouldn't miss any points. Now, when you are doing your conflict analysis, the analysis part is where you link what happened to what should have happened, and what should have happened can be found in the slide from the types of conflict, the 5 types of conflict. So if you're dealing with a interpersonal conflict, we've outlined the steps that you have to take in order to analyze or resolve a particular interpersonal conflict. So you're looking at what you would have done and comparing it on what you should have done, right? So that is where the analysis part is needed. Okay, then we would have done the major theories of conflict communication. This might have been a little interesting in terms of especially social penetration, where you could actually see your relationships, whether personal in terms of boyfriend girlfriend relationship and escalating all the way to marriage or breakup, as the case might be. And it could also be in terms of a work relationship as well. You're meeting your colleagues, you wouldn't want to jump out and tell them, look, I'm a self-cutter, or look, I have mental issues. That is not something you wouldn't jump out and tell somebody as soon as you meet them, right? So with the social penetration, you have to, it's as though you are getting rid of layers, so you feel comfortable telling someone, hi, my name is Trisha McIntosh, in terms of saying, hi, I am I have issues with eating. I have an eating disorder. First thing, meeting someone, that is not the level of disclosure that you'll feel comfortable with telling someone as soon as you meet them. So this is what the theory suggests, right? At least that particular theory. Then you have the face negotiation. That is basically just saving face. So you are in a situation where you feel some level of embarrassment. You try, at least that's human nature for most persons, you try to save face. So like, oh, did you just break wind there? No, that's not me, that's the dog. And you realize that really wasn't you. That really wasn't the dog, right? So you try to save face in everything, right? Hopefully you would have accessed the responses to conflict, so that you know for sure what your conflict style is. Now, there are times where you will see your numbers being very similar, or you might have two of the same conflict style coming up at, let's say both of them are 12, what happens is according to who you are in conflict with and the particular conflict itself or the particular setting. So if you are directing, you tend to be more directing in terms of, let's say, your personal relationships, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, mother to children, father to children, as opposed to your boss. If this is your bread and butter and you wouldn't be dealing with your boss the way you would deal with your interact with your children, you wouldn't say, listen, I tell you to do that, you do that, you can't come and tell me what you want to do, right? That is not that is not the way you would deal with your boss. But that might be, I'm just saying that might be the way you interact with your children. So according to the scenario and who you are in conflict with, your particular style might interchange, but you should have accessed and assessed your particular conflict style. If you're still having issues with it, please email me and I'll attempt to clarify it for you. Alright, so at the beginning of the week we opened up the culture and conflict, recognizing that culture does sometimes lead to conflict. For instance, if you are now meeting someone for the very first time and you carry pork and they're fasting and they're not supposed to eat pork, so they're having a little festivities at home and you say, well, alright, I make a mean pork, Jira pork, so I'm gonna carry this to impress the mother, you understand? And when she opens that and realizes pork, you just defile the entire home. So you know she's gonna tell your son, not for that.